Today on the Tim Marner podcast show, I've got our Zain from Heaton Podiatry, the best podiatrist in Bolton.
That sounds like a fitting title.
Fitting title, mate.
I like it.
When did you start this off then? When did you become a podiatrist? What was the calling that you had for doing it?
There was no calling.
More of a business decision than anything else.
So, as the saying goes, a lot of male podiatrists are actually failed physios, and that's what the case was for me. I just didn't get into physiotherapy that year, mate, and I had to do something. I couldn't bum around, and I ended up going to Salford University on open day, and the next closest thing I could get towards physio was podiatry with the biomechanics and all that, and that's how my foray started back in 2012. So 2015 is when I graduated. Yeah, so we're coming up to 10 years of work, and if I could be honest, I wouldn't have it any other way. With all the travelling I've done with the job and the opportunities it's afforded me, it's been second to none.
So for somebody from the outside, what is, just break down podiatry and what that is? Because obviously people think, is it just getting your bunions off or...
It's just gammy feet.
Yeah.
It's a bit more than that. It's the lower limb. It's looking at things from a multifaceted approach.
Like a sort of biomechanical sort of...
That's right. You're looking at circulation, you're looking at the biomechanics of the way people walk and move, and you are connecting dots in people's biomechanics and seeing where they're going wrong and where they're going right, and where you can kind of have some kind of treatment in there to get them moving properly,
So what people like runners are coming seeing you and stuff like that?
Yeah. A lot of runners, a lot of people with like gait issues with the way they're moving. We're getting orthotics made from to make them more efficient in the gait cycles. They're coming in with musculoskeletal issues. We've got all the bells and whistles with the shockwave machines and the laser machines just to get them going for their next marathon or Ironman, And then it's cases of like ingrowing toenails, verruca surgery, nail surgery. So skin, bones, muscles, you name it, anything lower limb, we're hitting it head on.
When you say lower limb, where you're talking from where, the knee down?
Hip down, yeah. But mostly, I tend to focus on say the foot and then the knee, and then I do a little bit with the hip. But that's an area for me to further progress my learning. So I'm, you're always actively learning, aren't you? I'm going to courses across the country, just trying to get that knowledge base higher and higher. Yeah. So if anybody comes, we're a jack of all trades when it comes to the lower limb, then there's nothing that we need to refer on. Everything's in-house, and they get what they say on the tin. They get what they pay for.
Where did the business side of you come into play? Where's that sort of
come about?
Yeah.
So Tim, I used to work in Oxford. Got my degree. Didn't want to be in Bolton. Thought there's a big world out there, and a contract came up in Oxford. So I was there for about 5 years, just boxing and fixing feet in the day. And came back during COVID, was working in St Helens NHS, which was the opposite end of the scale to Oxford, as you can imagine. Seen the pits of it, do you know what I mean? They call parts of St Helens Little Beirut, right? So I did my time there, and I was like, I need to go private, to be honest with you, because the culture within the hospitals wasn't the best. It was a lot of pressure just to hit targets and goals, and there was more staff leaving than they were recruiting. So it was becoming quite a toxic environment, because the bottom line wasn't the patients, it wasn't the staff, it was about management hitting their targets for the year in order to secure funding and what have you. And you had to take the brunt of it. So it was either quit the profession altogether or go private and actually start enjoying the job again and upskill at the same time. So provide an even better service than I ever would have done with the NHS. Unfortunately, our National Health Service has its hands tied with the funding it gets and what central government will allow it to do anymore. So yeah, private came in, and I've never looked back, to be honest with you.
But where did you get your astute sort of like business knowledge from then? Is that just like from your dad? Is it like have you just like learned on the go? Have you always had it in you, or have you learned it from working in them places? And
you don't get much business knowledge from the NHS, but what I will say is on my travels, I've met a lot of astute businessmen on the way, and that's kind of rubbed off on myself. And a lot of these guys became friends that in essence mentored me on my journey, and that eventually then led to me setting up Heaton Podiatry where I am now. But yeah, it was just a culmination of older blokes just passing on that knowledge, you know, and just sharing their journey and how they've done things and how to go about things that I took on board. And, you know, if I've got you for half an hour or an hour, best believe we're going to talk more business than we are biomechanics sometimes. Yeah, but yeah, it's the generosity of others that gave me.
So have those been the sort of mentors throughout your sort, you know, as what we were talking about before, you've had these coaches, or have you, like, unknowing coaches where they've just come into your life, but have you actually paid for coaches as well?
Unknowing coaches,
right?
Honestly, just through fixing them, say at an appointment, and then it's conversations just carry on from there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I paid for one coach once, a podiatry coach, when I first started the business for a month, and that's all I needed. Just kind of give me an idea of where I needed to go and what I needed to do. But apart from that, I've just worked it from there. Got myself a focused podiatry kind of a business ads team that just, you know, does a bit of our Google ads and that. But apart from that, it's just the job's more when people are in your chair, Tim, and being able to relate to them, talk to them, and providing that value-based service, but also a comfortable environment for them to express how they're feeling and what they need doing. Yeah. So there's a lot of empathy behind it. There's a lot said about having people skills. Whenever you're service-based, you have to have them. You can't be a monotone robot at all. Yeah. How
much does like somebody's sort of like emotional well-being come into like some of the injuries that they're picking up, where they're holding on to? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if you've got debilitating foot pain, you know, at first it's a niggle, and you're like, oh, it's gonna go. And when you're like 2-3 months in, and you can't go pushing the kids around in the park anymore, which is what I've seen.
Yeah.
You can't go running with the lads. You can't play football with them. You can't go on them long walks. That's when the emotional side, that's when the psychological impact starts kicking in.
Yeah.
And so it's then a case of trying to manage the injury, but, you know, you become an avenue for your patients to lean on as well. So it's not, when they come and talk to me, it's like, oh, it's not just always the foot pain getting better or not. It's you kind of get the week story of how the progress has been, how they're feeling about it, and it's managing that side as well. So the more we know about you emotionally and how it's impacting you, it kind of directs the treatment pathway too. How aggressively are we going to attack what you've got to get you better sooner, or are we aiming for a longer rehab process just to make sure that you do stay pain-free for a longer period and have that longevity of life? So yeah, taking on board.
It's a very holistic approach, mate, to what you do. It's important, isn't it?
Yeah. You treat the person first. You treat them, and then the injury alongside it. You know, it's never just a case of right. You need 20 sessions, and you need to come in every week for that. It's not. It's the way I like to focus it. It's not a capitalistic based approach. It's a holistic based approach, and you know, I always try to make it a value based approach as well. So I'll always do it. I try and go the extra mile with them, and that in itself creates value for the patient. They feel so much better for it too, because they expected X, Y, Z, and then, oh, hang on, I've got X, Y, Z plus 1, 2, 3 added in as well, and that in itself, they feel better for leaving the building. So I would say, yeah.
Yeah, it's good that, mate. What's been the sort of hardest thing for you in business? What can you remember, you know, trying to get your first client and stuff like that? What's been the toughest bit for you? Or?
So when I started going private, there was a lot of UK, you know, podiatry forums and what have you, and they're all like, oh, you'll open your doors and you're going to be banged to the rafters for the next 8 weeks. Mate, I opened the doors on Chorley New Road and I had no one ring me for 2 weeks. Just because I had a sign up and a Google page that didn't even exist in the realms of the Northwest.
Yeah.
Like there were clinics in Sale that were coming up before we did. You know what I mean? So it was just building that initial footfall and traction. And as much, you could be the best clinician in the world, but if you don't have a decent online presence, you're not going anywhere. You know, your online presence is the yellow pages of of the modern world now.
Yeah.
That's what it is. People don't look in books anymore. They jump straight on Google.
So what did the first thing that you did then? Just set me through that. What was the first thing that you did, sir?
Got the Google page done.
Yeah.
Got the podiatry business coach, as you mentioned, and she put me in touch with her team, her ads team basically, who kind of solely focused on physios, on podiatrists, and they were having good success. So approached them, worked on a plan of action, and we've just run it from there. And since we've been online and actually built that kind of credibility and built Google reviews, and it's Google reviews. I don't tell my patients what to write, but the things that they write in there makes a massive impact on when people read it. So they'll see, Zain's done X, Y, Z for me, and I'm really happy with it. They then carry that forward. So when I get phone calls of people saying, the only reason I'm coming, mate, is because of that review. It goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah. Massive, mate, innit? We know that, don't we?
Yeah.
Really important. So, can you remember the first, client that you got? Can you remember when you first got it?
Can you remember his name and everything, yeah.
Right, go on.
Won't say his name because of GDPR and that, but, he came in and he's like, oh, how long have you been open, pal? And I was like, 2 weeks. He goes, how long have you been qualified? I go, about 8 years, so you're all right, And he came in with some foot pain. Very simple plantar plate tear. Gave him some rehab, strapped the toe, give him some rehab, and off he went. And he was dead impressed with it. And he goes, oh mate, good luck with it, X, Y, Z, and hope it all goes well for you.
How were you? How did he fill it? How did he come to you? Did he fill in a Google form? How did you first?
Just rang me.
Did he?
Yeah, he saw the sign. So you've seen our sign, haven't you?
Right, yeah.
Our sign's, quite bright, quite teal, stands out in your face as you drive down Chalderney Road. And he goes, I just saw it sticking out, and I was like, I need a foot doctor or podiatrist, and that's what brought him there.
Foot doctor.
That's what we're not foot. Well, that's what patients like to refer to it as, but we are just podiatrists, mate. That's what the official title is. Podiatrist, chiropodist. It's the same thing.
Stick that into your SEO somewhere. Foot doctor. Foot doctor.
Yeah. Not an official term, I must say, but it is. That's what people call it, don't they?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So that was the first client, and then I remember the first 2, 3, and then after that, it all becomes a blur, doesn't it?
Because he just started going from then, did it?
Yeah.
Just started snowballing.
Well, it took 6 months for the snowball to start occurring.
Right.
Yeah. So I've got an online diary, and I can see that first 6 months of where one patient was dotted here, there, and everywhere, and then 6 months on, we started filling half a day, then a full day. A year and a half in, we started filling in a couple of days, and then it's 2 years in now, Tim, and we've had exponential growth, which has been nice to see, Yeah. We've put the graft in. But I will say this, I was in a fortunate position in where I could go part-time with the NHS whilst I built my baby, which is Heaton Podiatry. A lot of the times people don't have that amnesty where they can go half time in one place and half time in another. It's either all chips in or all chips out, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's quite lucky in that regard. I could afford to have them quiet days whilst it built. So I guess it doesn't always work that way for everybody, does it? Time is of the essence. Once you go private or start your own gig, the quicker you start turning revenue, it's either sink or swim, because you can only live so long off your savings and whatever other assets you have accumulated.
What would be the one piece of advice then if somebody is thinking of starting, going private and stuff? What would you tell them to do straight from the off?
In podiatry or just in general?
Just in general, I think.
Try and network with somebody that's already in business someplace somehow, maybe even the field that you're trying to go into, and just try and get some advice and information, or join a networking group of business-minded individuals to stop you making some fatal errors that could sink you before you started. It's very important to have a good network around you, whether that be a mentor, friends, a business mentor, just somebody that can point you in the right direction, because in your mind you could be thinking that yes, it's just gonna, we all have these manifestations, don't we? The business is gonna absolutely fly as soon as the doors open, but in actual fact it's never the case. 1 in a million maybe, but try and get some good mentoring, networking, and come see someone like yourself just to get a grasp on how to launch a business properly. I never did that, so I was, I just, like I said, opened the doors, Google page sign, and thought, yes, we're going to absolutely mack it. But that was a slap in the face that came around pretty soon. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people go through that, don't they?
Yeah.
Get a shot, get the sign up and stuff like that, and they're like, right, okay, here we go, like, but...
Yeah. No one knows you're there.
Yeah.
You must see it a lot.
Yeah, a lot, mate.
Yeah. So, I guess you guys work on it from the marketing side, don't you?
Yeah, we understand the brand a little bit more, you know, get to the grips of the messaging. You know, obviously we're working with your mum at the minute, which is amazing. And then once we understand that and then get the marketing on it, like it's dead easy that bit then.
Yeah.
Because you're not just marketing just as products and services, you're marking that why, them values of that person.
Yeah.
So people
person themselves.
Yeah.
Get that message across.
Yeah.
That was
because I think that's the one thing I see a lot, mate, that a lot of people when they're doing the marketing and stuff, they're basically just marketing the products and services all the time. You know what I mean? It's literally that all the time.
Yeah.
And you just like see it for hair salons, hair pictures, you know, all but you don't see the person behind it. Once you can do that, the whole thing changes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guilty of that. Yeah. So I'm not particularly... Well,
I'm not saying it doesn't work, because it does work, but if you want to really take the business off and what's it, the person behind it is a no-brainer.
Interpersonal, you know, people want to be a bit more acutely aware of you, don't they? I mean, even on our Instagram, really, I'm not really put much up about myself.
Well, Jake's going to come down in it. I think if you sort out with Jake, the videographer coming down, I think you should do a couple of pieces too, can we, mate?
Well, we are. So the idea is to get him in for my mum's and mine on the same day.
Right,
and it ties in again, networking. So I built a semi-decent business, mate. It's only 2 years, it's only a baby yet. It's 2 years and it's in its infancies. But, you know, I saw the opportunity there to help my mum then develop her business, because I've gone through the trial and errors, and one of the first things that I advocated was contacting yourselves, and that was on the back of our mutual friend, shout out Charlie Bolton, you know, Mr. Farmer Strong. So we seen what you did with him. You know, obviously I did my own thing, but for me mum, I was like, I don't want to take that risk. Sometimes you really ain't got 2 years to waste, and it's such a, you know, the wellness side of things now, I feel like it's becoming a little saturated. You've got pop-up clinics in these beauty salons and all the rest of it, and you know, you've got questionable practitioners out there. The authentic practitioners need that edge sometimes, just to showcase their actual work, you know, and show that value for money that people want. That's part of it, ain't it? Just getting out there and letting people know what your message is and what you're doing properly.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, you know, we could talk about like Andy down at his little, you know, shout out to Andy from me and Zain, from the Essential Shop, that Mood Essential Shop. And when you're in that stage of like scarcity, and you think, oh, how am I going to keep the lights on and stuff, the last thing you want to do is a video. But it's really the first thing that you should be doing, and let people behind it, you know. I was quite vulnerable in that video for him, and you know, and people want to support these people. And it's like, do the video, be all right with it, and just say, you know, his product's amazing, but people really like him because he's just a lovely lad.
Yeah, it came across genuine. There was a lot of raw emotion from both of you, and that, you know, it's always the ones that are struggling that give the most, ain't it? And we saw that when I saw him give you them, you know, them products for nothing. I was like, wow, right, dude absolutely went out on a limb. You know, shows a lot about his character as well. You know, screams volumes. So, and you want to get behind someone like that. You know, I was happy to go to, prior to knowing about him, I was happy to go to Traff Centre, go Rituals, and go get me diffuse, you know, my essences and that there for the clinic. But well, hang on a second. It's a local business that could do with that, maybe a little bit more than your high street brands.
Zain. That's what it's about.
Support local. Build. It's good to have a good network within your current demographic. Definitely. You can all bounce off each other too, can't you?
It's important, isn't it? And nobody, you know, you just, I'd been there, mate. You've been there. I've been, you know, when I first started out, I was in my mum's second bedroom, little box room, like, and fucking second guessing myself all the time and stuff like that. I had nobody around me. I just had to make decisions on my own, mate. So many fucking big mistakes, like, but a few big ones came off as well.
Yeah.
But I had nobody to bounce it off, and if I knew back then what I know now is I'd get more people around me so I can soundboard.
Yeah.
And just like, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've you know, that lone wolf mentality, it doesn't get you far.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
I like the sound of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it sounds cool. I'm a
like,
lone wolf. But...
like the Ronin samurai.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they don't last long unless you are Musashi Mayoto, right? And you fucking wigged 67 mans. It's one in a million.
I read his what is it? The Way of Walking Alone the other day, Dokado, and his 21 principles, mate. Fucking hell, I'm just like
Musashi's book.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm fucking nobody, me. The stuff that his 21 principles of living, I'm just like fucking maybe I do 3 or something. Like beautiful.
You know, these principles are built for a different time and a different person.
Yeah.
You know, as a society now, we're not built to that same caliber anymore.
No.
We're a lot more fragile and a lot more vulnerable. But there's always been strength in numbers too. So
yeah. In one of them, it said, "Do not do things for pleasure's sake." I'm just like, oh my God, that's fucking so beautiful. That there is so many people in this world seeking pleasure, not joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that joy is me at the top of a mountain. I just slog my guts on it to there, boom. And I get that where everyone's like porn, likes on Instagram,
sniff.
Sniff. I can drink what you know what I mean? Everybody's trying to get that. They're confusing it as joy, and it's not.
It's very short lived.
Yeah.
Very short lived, and that short term dopamine just doesn't hit, mate.
Yeah.
You know, I've amateur boxed, I've wrestled. You know, these are some of the most adversity driven sports that you can imagine. You know, trying to dodge someone, take your head off, or take you down on a mat, and the training alone is so grueling. Some nights, mate, you're absolutely fucked after a. Can I swear on the podcast? Yeah. We're absolutely knackered after a day's graft, and then you've got to go scrap for some fresh 21-year-old who's just finished college or uni. And it's like, I don't really want to be there, but I tell you what, afterwards, that's true joy.
Yeah.
When you're on that mat at the end, everyone's steaming with sweat, and you're just like, good session. That's true joy right there. You feel elevated. That's what it is. It's elevation. It's not have a quick high and then have a quick low. And you know, reasons for going in. It applies to business, that too. So, you know, when I started, I was like, gonna have a Lambo outside here in 6 months. Yeah. Pod 1, number plate, right? 2 years in now, it's like, well, I don't really aspire to know that bollocks anymore, mate. There's so much more to this job and giving than the material goods.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really doesn't hold any significance whatsoever.
Yeah.
The true joy in this job is, say, doing a 6 to 10 week package with the patient and seeing them go from like a 10 out of 10 in pain to like a 0 or a 1, and they're like, mate, I've got my quality of life back. That's what I live for now, fixing people, and there's so much more fulfillment from that alone. Yeah,
I love that, mate.
Yeah, that's true fulfillment right there. When you can do for others what they can't do for you. Yeah. You know, it leaves you feeling good at the end of the day, doesn't it?
Yeah, massive, mate. I mean, mine is sort of like just making people believe in themselves, you know, because I know what it feels like not to believe in yourself, and it's you know, and it's not your fault to not do that, but when I can do that and I can help someone believe in themselves, I'm just like, oh my fucking God. Because you're unstoppable when you believe in yourself. You got rid of all that fear, you got rid of all that judgment, all that, and you kind of go, oh my God, I'm just like right in my power now, and I've helped them do that. I'm just like, this is what I'm doing here.
But has that been you though? Have you been on that other end of the other end of that scale there? Have you been the one that's needed that?
Yeah. I've been there. I've been there in a dark room, stood there in a dark room, alone in the dark.
Yeah.
Not believing in myself, not knowing where I'm going. And, you know, I look back at it now and I'm like, I don't want other people to feel like that. In that moment with Andy, and I was stood next to my car, and it the wave came over me, and I'm like, I know where he's at. I've stood where you're at right now, and you feel lost. I can hear it in your voice, like you said. And I'm like, I'm not having this. Betty, ring him up. Let me get him in.
Yeah.
Just in order for me to just let you know, mate, that you're more than enough. Stop questioning yourself. Here's a few little things that you need to do.
Yeah.
Once he does that and then it booms, I'm like, that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing it. Same with you, just to fix people. Beautiful, mate.
Yeah.
Fucking beautiful.
And the reviews are testament to that. You know, I don't do it for the review, but you get a review, and you've probably got a few as well, where people put that online, and it's visual then for other people to see. It's concrete for life then, ain't it?
I think it's a reminder to yourself as well, don't it? Yeah. That you can look back on it just in case you're having a bit of a dark day or whatever, to kind of go, right, okay, I've got you.
I've done something there, haven't I?
Still here, yeah.
So that's that, man. But it's.
Have you thought about going into the sort of coaching, mentoring role from a business side? Have you not?
I haven't, mate, if I'm honest with you. I've been so busy just trying to make Heaton Podiatry sustainable.
Yeah.
That any other projects have kind of took a back burner. I think last time I was here with my mum, we won't say it on the podcast, but there was another project we talked about. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And that I'll be coming to see you about that soon.
Yeah,
but
it's just a bit of a back burner for the minute.
But it's on the back burner for now. Yeah. But I've just been trying to build that stability for myself first, because I don't want to be in a position where I might have a few nuggets, right, a few good pearls of wisdom there, but I don't want to be putting them out there and then having to dedicate to something that I can't.
Right, okay.
I can't hold myself to, you know. So if you are mentoring someone, and I'm too busy myself with other things, I'm letting somebody else down then, aren't I? So for me now, mentoring is, if I see someone and they ask me about business, mate, I'll give them everything I know, do you know what I mean? Just to put them in the right direction. But in terms of making it a structured kind of meeting at the moment, it's just not something I've gone towards yet.
Yeah, I feel that for you as well, mate, you know, because I think you're really good at like looking at people's processes and helping them like figure that out as well.
Yeah.
I think some people just need that little the arm on the shoulder, don't they?
Yeah.
Or a little just a guide with the arm kind of thing.
Like a nudge along.
Yeah, because I think, people have got amazing business, like little cafes and do great but, maybe they've not got the processes or pricing right, or maybe their online presence isn't right, or are you doing this, are you doing that, and it's just like, someone like yourself could just go in and spot that like that. Yeah,
but don't you
do it? Do you go into somewhere and you're like analysing, okay, I wonder how they're doing this?
I saw it in that video you did.
Did you?
With the essential oils thing. I saw it and I was telling my missus about it, and I was like, a couple of pointers there where he could...
Right, amazing.
Where he could work on. But did you ever find yourself micro-analysing businesses when you walk in? It's like we go somewhere to get some produces.
Yeah.
And it's just... I always think, like, even with Heaton, when I took over the building, just the room there were so many roadblocks to making the patient process efficient and streamlined. So we had a big gate outside, a big heavy metal gate, and patients had to push that open.
Brutal, that thing.
Yeah, you got a 90-year-old biddy, right, doing an arm press, trying to get it open. And then you've got the stairs, which you can't do nothing about, but, it was like getting something to pull the gate back, having the correct intercom systems in place so we can get to them, the website, the booking system, just making it streamlined, mate. From start to finish, there shouldn't be any roadblocks. There shouldn't be anything there that makes you second guess why you're wanting to visit that business or why you're on that process of booking an appointment. I've been on booking systems, mate, and they've been like 20 pages long, and it's like, you get halfway in and I'm like, you know what, it's not worth the hassle, this.
Yeah. I did it down at Ford just then, to put your truck in for a service, and to check your fucking truck in, there's a little screen, you've got to go, do you want this? And we can add on. I'm just like, oh my God, I just feel like throwing the fucking key out. The experience was awful.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and I'm just like, if you did this, if you did that, I do it all the time.
Yeah, streamline it, and you'll probably find your client retention's a lot better. But like I was saying, one place where we go get some, some of our organic food and that, it's just so hard to navigate the shop, mate. I'm just like, I have to pick my times when I go.
Right.
So I try and go. I always think the masses like to go midday 12, 11, 12 onwards. If I go early bells,
Yeah.
chances are everyone's still in bed.
Right.
And get me stuff and I can get in and get out. I create my own efficiency.
Right.
You know.
So
yeah.
the actual experience, is that stressful if there's that many people in there? That
Yeah.
it become like, right.
Yeah.
So if a shop opened up next door and then you got everything right, you'd be going straight in there.
Yeah, of course.
So it's just like, these people need to think about this.
That's it. It's like, if you know, good on you for having such a roaring trade.
Yeah.
Because they do a couple of other things in there, but you know, some people are happy to queue for half an hour, mate. People like Sells and I'm on a clock most days.
Yeah, no.
Do you know what I mean? The timetable's full Monday to Sunday.
I get my food delivered here, mate.
Right. Even better.
From a prep company, make home meals.
Yeah.
Shout out to Patora Meals. We drop them off here every Wednesday. Like
Magic that.
Yeah, magic.
Yeah.
All
Good.
fresh.
It's efficiency, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's time and it's efficiency. So yeah, that's what I aim towards in personal life and in business.
Yeah, me too, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's great what you guys do with your, you know, your consultations and all that. We booked it in with Betty. The reminders came through, and it was really streamlined. You know, we knew where we stood, and you went to, because I was there at that initial meeting for me mum's. You know, just booking out my time to work around your time, and then we were set in stone then, weren't we? Yeah.
So important processes, mate, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think when I first set up, I didn't know how important. Well, obviously, as I get into it, then you realise just how important. Because, like, you know, you get a few not bad reviews, but people kind of go, "Oh, when am I getting this?" Or when I'm just like, "How can we make this slicker?" It's like, you know, people need to know. They need communication's key. So how can we make that communication better?
Yeah. Well, you guys are there now, aren't you? With a manager.
Yeah, manager.
Manager's a big one.
Yeah,
I'm really impressed with that
setup.
You know, because you built it for our array of skin clinic.
Yeah.
And just
Charlie's using it as well.
Yeah, Charlie's using it too. Yeah. It's just amazing how everything it's like a big spider's web.
Yeah.
And everything just closes into that one.
Into that one thing. Yeah.
And you can just bounce off that and see where your marketing's at, where's your website at, and your client retention and your calls, all of that stuff. That's huge. That saves you clicking through like 4 or 5 different pieces of software.
Yeah.
You get a bit lost with it all, don't you?
Yeah. It becomes like doing things like that becomes a blag, doesn't it? Yeah. Getting all your different systems in place and stuff like that, and then what your logins for your Facebook, your Instagram,
that's
and
it.
all that. It's like, what an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. How long did it took you to get to that stage of getting streamlined?
I think it's like, potentially, without lying to people, it's probably over the last 3 years. I mean, we've been here 10 years, and it's the last 3 years that we've really like looked at the processes and got everything right down. So manager we've had for about, I think it's about 3 years, maybe a bit less. We've just got that absolutely like nailed on now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Take it, your clients love it too, don't they?
Yeah, love it, mate. Love it.
Yeah.
My missus is on it, and she's a personal trainer, and she's got like a private studio at home. Since she's been on manager, she had another 2 jobs. Like you, she had sort of, you know, like you in NHS and what's it. She had another 2 jobs apart, because she was only like newly qualified. With manager, she's managed to quit them 2 jobs and then do this full time.
The power of systems.
Power of the systems and the processes.
Yeah.
You know, it's beautiful just seeing her. You know, she's got amazing product, amazing person. She's like a client, mate, honestly. Just some of the messages and the reviews that she gets, like, put mine to shame. I'm just like, she's literally, you know, changing people's lives, but on a beautiful level. Not about asses and tits and all that. It's about a lady who could never walk and kind of come in, or somebody on menopause, and now she's got a new lease of life. I'm just like, fuck, man. I'm just like, this is why we're here. This is why we're here on this planet.
And that's networking right there.
Yeah.
So, you know, we see all facets of society. I see, like we were talking about earlier, I see the athletes, right? I see the ones doing the ultra marathons, the Ironmans. But I also see the older ladies who they've lost that strength, they've lost that mobility, and we'll work to get them that initial strength and mobility. But you know, a great plug would be someone like your missus, who they can see on a long-term basis to build that strength, to build that mobility, and just build their overall quality of life. That's networking right there,
mate.
You know,
that's what it is about.
So we'll have to make connections there.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
There's definitely something we can do there as a referral scheme to yourselves. Yeah, I've got Plenty of clients that can do with that.
It's just that, isn't it? I think sometimes, like you said, you don't realise just how important it is. Like when you've injured yourself and you can't do your normal activities, how much it affects you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Massive, innit? And a lot of it, listen, it starts in the fucking feet, doesn't it? Pretty much.
Tyres on a car. If your feet ain't right, you ain't going anywhere, are you?
Yeah.
They're the only thing touching the ground.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
So yeah, I find that if you get the feet right.
What's your thoughts, mate, on the sort of like barefoot movement, the sort of Vivo barefoot and all them kind of things? Where are you at with that? Good question, that, weren't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a dichotomy.
Right. Okay.
Because it's dependent on the individual using it. Now, if you're doing high mileage on harsh terrain, right, with very minimal padding,
yeah,
zero shock absorption, chances are you're going to get, and I see this a lot, you're going to get sore feet eventually. Not everybody,
yeah,
but some people are more prone to it. You know, we're over the millennia, our evolution has took us into these soft little flabby individuals. We're not built like the Maasai tribe, mate. Yeah, doing 20k a day on the plains of Africa. We're in Bolton.
Yeah.
We're on the mean streets of Bolton with tarmac everywhere and potholes.
Yeah.
We're just not made for it. I can see how it can help the feet, as in like build that intrinsic foot muscle strength, right? But there comes a point where, depending on what you're doing, it could actually do the opposite.
Right.
It could aggravate you and cause more problems. So it's very, very case dependent, that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure if you're just pottering around the office, you'll be all right. But if you're banging out some serious mileage, just think where all that force is going.
Yeah, I mean, my transition, because I do a lot of sort of barefoot and wear the Vivos, mine have been from like normal sort of like night trainers, which just like were just destroying me, into sort of like ultras, which are a zero drop and a bit of cushion. Then I've moved, you know what I mean, and I kind of gradually done it because I kind of knew. Because I pulled playing football, I ruptured my Achilles tendon. I 100% down to what I was wearing, the shoes and stuff like that. And ever since that, I've been like, right, okay, how do I strengthen this back up? I wish I would have known you back then, but it was like, I kept looking at how my heel was and stuff like that. And do you know what, when you see in the initial stage of like, stages of an acute injury like a Achilles rupture, right, you should be, if it's a complete rupture, you'd be in a boot, do you know what I mean, or a cast, and then what you do is you actually start off with a bit of a heel as you start getting load through it, and then you reduce the heel over time, which it sounds like that's I had the boot on the stuff, and you start working on your stretching and your strengthening and your proprioception and took ages. It was about a year, I think.
Mate. But did you do that with just like
playing football?
Your rehab, was that just exercises and loading and that over time?
Yeah.
So one of the things I concentrated on with the practice was, and this is what makes you stand out. What's your USP? You know what I mean? UPS. Yeah. And our unique selling point was I made sure the first 2 years we just invested in equipment. And I'm talking the stuff that they're using at City, United. I've got friends at physios over there and podiatrists. I was just trying to match that level. If we can get Premier League style level of rehab in a Bolton clinic, we're going to get people moving just that much more quicker. And so, you know, the advice to stretch and strengthen is great, works, but how do we get that recovery period from like 6 months down to like say 3-4? And for me, it was abstaining from short-term dopamine. So the business, I invested into the business. I didn't take any money out to enjoy or here's the first few quid that we've made, let's go.
You played a chess move, not a checkers move.
Let's go get a table at Panacea or whatever. It was a case of, right, we've made enough till here to invest in some serious equipment. Let's go for the long-term growth over the short-term pleasure, mate, because today's sunshine could be tomorrow's rain.
Right,
You know, the good times don't always last, or the bad times don't always last, but whilst the going's good, make your contingencies. And if future-proof your business. You know, it's very easy to see the numbers in the account and think, right, yeah, we're going out, we're having a good chill tonight.
Could change like that.
Could change overnight, mate.
Yeah.
Could change overnight. All it takes is a couple of bad reviews. You know, could take a fitness to practice investigation. You're suspended from practice, and overnight everything's gone to pot on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything, you know, you could have an accident yourself. You could hurt yourself, and the business is just, if you're a one man band, well, who's going to come and fit in the meantime?
Yeah.
So yeah, future-proof your business and invest in it. At least for the first couple of years, minimum 2 to 5 years. It's all about just building that baby till it's solid.
I totally agree, mate. Everything money we got, just put it back into it.
Yeah.
Put it back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your hobbies outside of work?
Just hiking, mate. Really. I've always have been quite a sort of spiritual. You know what I mean? So like Monday, I'm going having a shamanic healing. I just love that space. Like I said, I got qualified aromatherapist when I think I was 20.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, it was just a calling that he had, and then just did it, and I was in that space, and then I got into a point where people were, it was getting too much, people calling me gay and like what's it, and then I got more into sort of like the drug scene and started going out like Hacienda and all that kind of stuff.
Manchester,
so yeah, so I just got into all that for a while, and then like I think it was in the sort of late 30s I got back into it now. So when people ask me what my hobbies are, I like doing sort of like meditation and hiking and that kind of thing.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I was 16. I was in Vegas on my own, right? And that, you know how you saying like people are into Hacienda and all that. Like, mate, by 22, I'd lived an entire life. Do you know what I mean? And I came back to Bolton one night from Oxford, and all the lads are chilling. And I sat there with one of my pals, and I was like, "Oh, mate, this isn't for me anymore. I'm done." And just overnight like that, I was done. I was done chilling, and I was like, "I'm just spending all my time at the boxing club and wrestling club." So I had that. I was lucky. I had that enlightenment really early on in life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That grounding just came super early on.
Yeah.
That's why and even now at 30, mate, I still feel like I'm behind.
Dear.
Yeah. I just feel like I've.
But do you ease up on yourself with that? Do you give you time to kind of be kind to yourself, to kind of go, no, just sit in this now, Zain. It's all right. You don't need to be fucking constantly trying to conquer the world.
Well, like I feel now at 30 especially, I was 28 when I started Heaton, like my, as they call it, my Roman Empire era has just begun, do you know what I mean? It's just galactic expansion, mate, you know. That's it. Like this is the time when I've got the energy to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I've got responsibility, but I'm not burdened down with life yet.
Right.
I haven't got...
But what does that mean, burdened down with life?
Well, mediocrity sets in almost, doesn't it? You know, the steps of life, you know, you got your missus, you've got your babby.
You got to do that.
Yeah, you get, like, as much as I would like to go training 5-6 days a week, I've got to give my attention not just to the business, but to my personal life as well. Yeah. Whereas in my 20s, I didn't have that kind of restriction. I wouldn't even call it a restriction. I would just call it your responsibility, because what is the point in having a family if you don't spend any time with them? Yeah. But ultimately, something else has got to give, right? So yeah, at 30, it's like, oh, yeah, we've just not hit the mark just yet. I don't know when I'll hit the mark.
I don't think you'll ever hit the mark.
To be honest with you, I don't know, mate. I could be here in 10 years from now having a chat with you now, right?
Same conversation
with the helicopter outside.
I'll still not hit the mark.
Still not hit the mark, and this is where you don't chase life for the material. You know, with the work and the contracting I did, I had the sports cars and that in my mid-20s, mate. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, you have your fun in them, and then it's like, oh fucking hell. It's just a metal thing in the backyard, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's about grounding yourself and just having, it's like you do, going hiking, just getting out there, enjoying time for what it is.
Yeah, cold water, just getting, I love it, mate. Wild camping, I love, that's one of my favourite things is wild camping. Top of a mountain, set the tent up and just spend it overnight.
Where do you go?
I love it, shop, mate. Lakes is sort of like the one that I always get a call into and stuff. I love the Lake District, but you know, I've been to Wales, Scotland, everywhere really. Yeah.
Do you ever find like where we live, these settlements, they're just concrete jungles with no, you know, they feel like they zap your energy a bit living in these towns and cities.
I've got a little bit of a thing at the minute, mate, and I just like my landlord messaged me the other day about well, we're selling the house that you're in, and would you be cool if we give you a notice, but it's only going to be 28 days, and I was just like, yeah, it's fine, you know. I'm buzzing for you. You've got your forever home for your family, and I've just sorted something out, whatever. I can get another house or whatever. But then I was just like, I don't want to do that anymore. And I'm gonna get a camper van, and I'm gonna live in a camper van for a bit.
Nice.
Because I just like what you just said then.
Yeah.
I don't want to be stuck here. I want to go to Rivington, wake up on Rivington, and drive to work, and then maybe wake up. And that's what I'm gonna do for a bit. That's just my next thing.
The autonomy.
Yeah.
The absolute free autonomy.
Yeah.
I was in Chesterfield not too long ago, and I got out of Manchester, and I was like, oh my God, where have these hills come from?
Yeah.
Like green rolling hills, and it's only 15, 20 miles outside of Manchester. But I was like, it was a different world, and we never really leave these concrete jungles, do we? You know, that are void of any energy, positive energy. It just seems to zap you everywhere you go around here. That's what I love about Rivington. It's on our doorstep.
Rivington. Yeah, it's mint.
I used to loads of mountain biking up there, tons of it, and not a better place in the world, I don't think. It is a mini lake district in itself.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely.
That's where I like.
Definitely. There's some really beautiful little cold water spots that not many people know about, that are really secluded and stuff like that. If you get right into the heart of it and stuff like that, obviously there's that main bit with that Liverpool Castle people go around. But if you get right into it and stuff, I bet there's some really good mountain bike spots around there, isn't there?
There is. We used to do a lot of sprinting up there, up Rivington, and there's a hidden reservoir. Right, hope it stays hidden as well.
Yeah.
And it's got these 3 peaks. You go up the first one, and it's like that, it goes like that. There's a massive reservoir at the top, and a few of the locals know about it.
Yeah, I think I know what it is. But
and they go, you know, they just have a little dip in the water there, but totally secluded.
Yeah, mint. And
it's just so serene. Just, you know, just you, the air, and the mountains, the hills around you. Can't beat it. I always say to my missus, the end goal is just that. Just wake up one morning, open the back doors, and you're just looking out. You know, that morning dew as it's coming up, that mist. Yeah. Just have your tea looking out into the fields. That's the thing I've seen
with his van life, mate. Just slight door open and just there, the sun just comes through. You see all the dew on the ground. There's a little bit of frost in the air. I'm just like a little cacao on the go, and I'm just like, fuck, man. Yeah. I don't need all this bullshit. No.
I'm part of a group called the 5am group. We do a lot of motorbiking. Right. And the meet-up time is 5 o'clock, right, in the morning. Yeah. So we're going through these country roads at 5 in the morning, mate, and I tell you what, there's nothing like it. The sun's just coming up. Yeah, there's a bit of mist on the ground. You've got to be a bit careful, you know. It's a bit damp and that in the corners, but yeah, mate, it's just gets you out of the nitty-gritty of everyday life. Yeah. And then Saturdays and Sundays when we do it, it's amazing. You're knackered by the end of it, but
there's joy. What we're saying, that joy at the end of it.
Yeah.
There's joy in the fruit, but just, yeah. I get it, mate. You can't explain. I'm trying to explain to somebody when I go hiking or go wild camping, I'm trying to explain it to them, and it's so hard to explain. It's a feeling that if you've had it, you understand. It's like me and you've got a knowing. Yeah. I don't need to explain it to you, it's a knowing.
You just know.
But if you try to explain it to someone else who've never experienced it, it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It sounds good, but I've not ever had that feeling.
Yeah. Do you know what I would say? One place that replicates it is Charlie's gym.
Yeah.
Right. Fantastic environment. Yeah. You do your workout, mate, and you're just looking out onto them hills, sun setting. Where else do you get that kind of environment or scenario? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not just the workout itself, it's the periphery around it too.
Yeah, the environment there's an energy in there when you go there.
Yeah. Like-minded. Because you wouldn't be there if you didn't like it, would you? You know, the training's not easy.
No.
So you've got to come for something more than the training. It's that entire community. And it bounces back to business. It's having community. How many people start a venture on their own and just get stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important, mate, isn't it? Really important.
Mm.
I'm just trying to get myself and put myself right back there, and then I've not had that. But I feel like when I did get that, that's my business grew from the start, when I started putting them people around, and making them connections.
I mean, you'd probably be a good standpoint from that because you know so many businesses.
Yeah.
Whereas, in you know, if you hosted like a business get-together group for the Tim Marner Collective,
Yeah.
and you just sat and everybody just traded ideas and that,
Yeah.
you know, and they're all, their common link is that they come through you.
There's a lot of synchronicities, like, because you've just said it now. I've had so many people say that same thing, and then, you know, I will go back to me a little woo-woo number that when the last healing that I've got, the lady Yvonne said to me, look, Tim, whatever you do, you've got like a web of like light, so it's like a cobweb, and then there's little bits of light on each one, and you bring all them people together.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to move into, sort of more like. So you saying it, and then somebody else has said something the other day, that I'm going to put these marketing little events on where I can bring everybody together and then just hook each other kind of up. And yeah.
It's, you're hooking everybody up because, well, you've had your affirmation there, haven't you?
Yeah.
If you're hearing it from so many different people in so many different settings, we can all obviously see the potential with what you can offer, Tim.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else could offer that because nobody, you know, with their line of work respectively, wouldn't come across that many businesses. You must see all sort. You know, it's like your missus now with the PT stuff.
Yeah.
That could work with us.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
You know,
1,000,000%.
I
just, the thing is with it, mate, is that I want to put good people together.
Yeah.
And that's really the trick. This web of light, truly people, it's kind of, you know, purpose over profit kind of thing. There's nothing wrong with earning money, and everybody should earn money, should earn good money, but put purpose before anything. Yeah.
People always buy off people they like, mate.
Yeah.
You know, there's a necessity to buy something, and then there's wanting to buy something. And if you can relate to your client base, they'll want to buy it off you happily. There's that element of trust that comes with that, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, if you're authentic, it shines through. You can't fake authenticity.
No, I've just had a couple of sort of narcissists get into the web sometimes where it's not that I've not trusted my gut, I never saw it coming.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've let a little bit of darkness into that light, and then it's spread its thing. You know, I've been able to like cut it off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard that I want to put these people together, well, then I'll put the wrong person in. I'm like, oh fuck, you know. So I need to be really, really conscious and aware. I think that's why I'm all doing so much work now, so I can really read people to kind of go, no, because I know 100% that you're fucking a light. You're a fucking good person, mate. Art-centric, that I know that if I put you with my missus, that you two will fucking help a shitload of people out.
Yeah.
But then I'll see someone else and go, yeah, I think they're all right then, and then it doesn't do that thing, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it's just human psychology, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know who was big on that? Mike Tyson's trainer, Customato. Massive on psychology was. Just reading people and making sure Tyson on his up and coming was kept in the right grounds as a result of that. Kept a lot of the shit houses away from him, and it's being able to read individuals, and it's like seeing that ulterior motive. Like I'll sometimes get someone email me for, you know, orthotics or something or other, and I'll read it, and you can kind of pick out patterns in narcissistic behaviour or certain.
They're basically just in it for their own personal gain.
Yeah, or like, this could turn into a headache for me in the future. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I'll just swerve the work, mate. I'll be like, I'll kind of swerve it like, oh, I'm sorry, I just can't help you in that regard. These are your options, but I won't commit to it. I won't jump headfirst in just because of the profit.
Yeah.
You've got to get savvy to people, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know, not everybody comes with clean intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sort of big one for me, that, you know, I get so many like messages and like people saying, oh, give you this and I'll kind of give you that and it'll be really good for your business, and I'm just like, Just like, I don't need that, mate. And like, what you saying? She's like, can you help my people out?
Yeah.
Can you help my people out?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? I'm like, no, I'm asking you a simple question, yes or no. Can't answer the question.
Yeah. 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 Vetting.
Yeah.
Vetting's a big one.
Yeah.
Vetting's a really big one. Same with so like the wellness game for my mum and that.
Yeah.
Are you helping people out because you want them to look better, right? Subtly without botching the faces, or are you doing it just because it is a hype at the moment, and there's numbers to be made, and you just want to clear the house as quick as you can with total disregard for the potential, harmful side effects that could come off it.
Yeah.
It's knowing where that authenticity is anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But you can just feel it on your mum though, can't you, mate? Obviously you're going to be biased, like, but from me, from an outside, as soon as I met her, I knew that she was nurturing and caring, and like, she really does care about people. You just know it on her. You feel it on her. There's no manipulation. She's just not got it in her body.
No, she's not that type of person.
Is she?
And that's why I've had to come in as the the guy in the background, because it's very easy for a person like that to be manipulated by unscrupulous.
I can do this for you. You do this for me. I'll get you this
yeah.
many views. I can get you more. All that.
I've seen it. She's told me already. XYZ said, for so much a month we can post out so many Instagram posts for you. But I'm like, look, if you haven't got the core foundation set in place, what even is the point of paying this person? Because they're not actually doing nothing for you.
No, just in pulse for pulse sake, and it's like...
Yeah.
Well,
it's not actually achieving nothing, but, she's done 20 years in the health service as a midwife, right? So she's done her time caring for people for 2 decades in the making. And to want to do it for yourself is not a bad thing, mate. So I'm all for it, just pushing that array of skin clinic and that level of elegance and subtle beauty that comes with it.
Yeah.
And we were talking to Betty about this outside. It's for a lot of girls, even the younger ones, even though we're marketing it towards that older demographic, even for the younger ones that want to go in a kind of non-judgment environment and, egoless environment again, that's what we want it to be.
Yeah.
You don't want to be sat there getting judged because you're not having 200 mils of a filler in your face, right? You're coming there for your own subtle enhancements, and that goes a long way. So, and I feel like the oils will play a part in that too.
Yeah, massive.
Just like you said, the different type of essential oils you'll have in the waiting room, calming people down, positive energy in the clinics themselves.
Beautiful.
Just have it in the right places at the right time.
Yeah,
I think it'll go a long way. That. Yeah.
So what's next for Heaton Podiatry then? What have you got coming up? Are you just going to do more of the same? Are you?
So I'm upskilling all the time, mate. Upskilling all the time, whether that's skin surgery, whether that's biomechanics. I'm just constantly just trying to get the best out of myself to give to the clients themselves. And then the idea is, in the long haul, is getting some staff in, just getting some good staff in that are gonna
enhance the experience.
Enhance the experience. Yeah. And I've got a couple of people in mind who have really good people I've worked with in the NHS that are looking for their break outside of the NHS. And I'm like, look, give me a year. Let me get it absolutely chocker there. Let me build that reputation, and you can come into the back of that. Do you know what I mean? And together we can make it a fantastic experience for yourselves and for the clients too. And I think if your staff feel looked after, mate, they go above and beyond. Yeah. Don't just treat them like a number. Take the time out to give your staff attention too, and it goes a hell of a long way. So yeah, that's my thing there. And then we'll just run with it from there, Tim. There's no real end goal. I started it. I came into a market that already had 6 or 7 established podiatrists within a 5-mile radius.
Really?
Yeah. Older podiatrists. And that's the other thing, market research. Research your competitors, research what's on the market already. And I'm not saying to undercut anybody, right? Because you devalue yourself that way. We're probably first highest in some of the products that we market, and we're probably second highest in other things. You know what I mean? We're quite high up, but just research what they do and where you can improve on that. just get them little niches in, and that's what will make you different. So for us guys, it was the equipment that we bought. It was, it's Premier League level equipment, and it's made a massive difference to our practice. Yeah.
So if somebody wants to book in with you, mate, where can they find you? Instagram, website, the full works?
Instagram's Heaton Podiatry, and our website's heatonpodiatry.co.uk. And if you do fancy just walking up to the clinic, we're on Charley Road, about 2 blocks away from yourself, number 92. So we're not too far away, are we?
No, appreciate you, Zain. Thank you for coming on, brother.
No
and
worries.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Goodbye.
Tim Marner, what, you ready?